Actually, in French. There we go.
Thank you so much, Jeanne. I'm excited. Really excited to be here with you. I love your energy and your passion and the way like you are fired up about what you do and about helping everyone. You want to like take us all the way back to like when you got started in business.
Sure. I got started 12 years ago. It was not an easy start. I was a newly minted solo parent with two young children. One was 1 and one was 4. And I looked at what I was doing and I thought, I need to create some business. And I actually started a children's fashion blog at first, which became really well known, like in a few months, but there wasn't a lot of money in that. Or I didn't, I had a few advertisers, but it got me online. And it got me regularly creating content, which was good. And we got a lot of free fashion clothes for my kids. But you can't eat fashion clothes. You can't eat clothes. So I thought, okay, this isn't really where I need it to be as far as like, supporting us in New York City. So I looked at my options and I thought, you know what? I've always kind of coached people. So I became a coach. I was a life and business coach to begin with. And I just was, in my pajamas, and people were referring people to me. And my first coaching clients were referrals. And then I had to start going out and networking. And, that was a hustle with the 2 young kids and getting babysitters. And then after 8 years of offline coaching, business consulting and strategist, and also I became an executive leadership coach with servant leadership. So I was coaching teams. After 8 years, I realized that, I really need to get online finally. So finally got online 4 years ago. And that was when everything just exploded.
So take me to like the moment or the time period of like when you were going online. What was the transition like emotionally, actual work? Like, tell me all about it.
Okay, honestly, it was a mess. I mean, I was in deep debt by that point because we had moved to another state that was not a high investment in myself or business kind of state, if you know what I mean. Like in New York, people invest. And I moved to the Midwest and they're like, I'm fine. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing all this marketing that used to work offline. But, if the market conditions are not people that are going to really invest, you're in trouble. So, we were more and more. I'd just been through a divorce. So just huge debt. And I thought, oh my goodness. So, we also had to take care of my kids in a new environment. So a lot of energy was getting them and just that they're okay. And I was okay. So I was still madly networking, but it was not the fruits of my labor like in New York City. And I thought something has to happen. I'd also, very messy. I'd also stupidly bought an investment property at a sheriff's sale that was a mess. Okay. And everybody was like, why did you do that? Because I thought I was just going to flip it and I was going to make the money and pay for a 10K course that I wanted to do. And that was my problem. My problem was I should have just invested more and believed in myself, even though I was in deep debt. And I should have plunked down the 10K. So it was so stressful. And I thought, okay, what do I do? And I thought, okay, this is that I should have bet on myself. I should have just kept going. That was my thing. I thought, okay, I'm just going to leave the house, let people just go in passively with a lockbox and pray that I sell that. But I'm not going to waste any more of my life because I was already like 54. I thought, okay, more stress. I'm going to plunk down 10K to do this program. And that program, even though it was not a great program, I figured out what's called organic marketing with very little training from them because I had to. And I started to get clients online in like 8 weeks. The 8th week, it was a lot of work for 8 weeks, so much anxiety. And on the 8th week, I started getting clients. I got 3 clients in 1 week. And that was, my kids and I were dancing around the house and crying because they'd seen, I want to cry now actually, because they saw what I went through. And my 2 daughters were like, Mama, you did it. We were literally dancing around the house. Like I cracked the code and then I knew how to do it. And people were like, how did you do that? I started helping more people and COVID started and I was well positioned. I was also well positioned to help people get online and be coaches. And we helped a lot of people during COVID to put, food on the table and to start another business that they could do without being, because they'd lost their jobs and such. So yeah. Was it neat? No, it was very messy and it was very emotional and it was a lot of risk.
Yeah. So tell me for a minute, you don't have to tell me like who the program was from, especially if like you said, it wasn't really good, but what was the purpose of that program? Like, why did you want to invest in it? What were they selling?
This is the kicker. I was sold into that program thinking they were going to help me to do Facebook ads. Okay. And when I went in, they go, oh, no, you can't do ads. They won't work for you. You just newly got online. I said, and yet I paid you 10K to teach me how to do Facebook ads. Okay, that I sold into something that they fully knew that I would not be able to do. I said, okay, so now I'm in here. All this training is all about Facebook ads. And because I was naive enough to think, like most coaches, oh, you just get online and run Facebook ads. They don't work. Okay. Especially now, 4 years later, they work even less. So if you're listening and you're a coach, please do not pour money down the drain on Facebook ads unless you have 100K in ad spend to test with. You really need about 100K to see that through, to start getting, because I've spent like probably 50K on ads that they don't work. Okay. And it's not because I did it myself. I've hired a lot of experts that, oh, it's going to work. No, it doesn't. So that point I said, well, hang on. I just, I'm in here. So what do I do? And they said, you need to do something called organic marketing.
Okay. They told you that.
They told me that. Okay. And I said, okay, where are the trainings on this? Oh, there's no trainings on that. I said, oh, interesting. So how do I do that? They said, go figure it out.
So that was their 10K for them to tell you organic marketing.
Go figure that out. Yes. I said, great. The only good thing about that program was the environment. There were a lot of other nice coaches and we were all kind of like desperately trying to support each other. It was really just the environment had nothing to do with them, except that those other people were also in there wondering what the heck they were doing. So I started being a leader in that group and showing the other people that had already paid somebody else 10K how to do this. And they were very grateful. And actually they ended up hiring me. Some of them, they're like, I'm going to hire you. And then I wasn't soliciting, of course, but even after I finished, people would come to me after I finished that program and say, hey, I saw you in there. Theirs didn't work. I really just want to hire you for this. So I figured it out.
I need to interrupt you on that for a second. That's what happens when you get into like these environments, like whether masterminds or other programs, right. And like you give like with no expectation, you were leading and you were helping them, not like trying to buy them, like trying them to buy from you. You were like literally just giving, and then you get.
I was just helping. I was just like, these poor people haven't figured this out. They're doing so. No, I had never dreamt that somebody that had already paid 10K would then turn around and pay another person. I thought, what, you already paid? They said, but it didn't work. So after the fact, after I finished with them, they still, knew where to find me. And they said, I just want to sign up with you. That was just a small part of my business. I'm just saying that, they were like, okay, we couldn't figure this out. So that was it. That was really, that served me in
what were you studying? Like, or what were you looking at when they told you have to do organic marketing? Like, how was your approach? Like,
they were like, okay, you got to get really clear on what you're offering and your avatar. And I thought, okay. So I knew how to do that. And they hardly helped with that. I mean, I had to beg to get on a call. It was that the service was so bad that I realized when I started, just as an aside, when I started my program, I thought I'm going to be the opposite of these people that don't serve people online. So I learned what not to do, and that's valuable too, right? I mean, I think, and I'm not unhappy that I invested in that program, because in some roundabout way, I got my value. It just wasn't what I thought, right? I created my own value from that program of how to operate. And I think, that's how we have to be in life, is like, no matter what, I'm going to get something out of this, and it's my responsibility. So what do I do? So anyway, that was the story of that. And then I started getting clients organically, and people were like, how do you do this so simply? And I started getting more clients, and we've helped over like 380 people now in 4 years.
Wow, that's awesome. But I'm curious, just back for a second, back at that program, when they told you had to figure out organic marketing, what was the actions that you did to help you figure out?
Actual actions?
Yeah.
I got very clear on my market. And that is when I realized coaches really need help. Because I'm a coach. I thought, wait, there's all these coaches in so much pain. So I thought, this is where we need to help people. And also, because it's what I do, I really relate to coaches, right? Coaches, consultants, and online service providers, because my methods work. And they said, just go on Facebook and start talking to people. That was what they said. I said, okay, that's the coaching. Go on Facebook and start talking to people. So that's what I did. I went on Facebook. I started talking to people. I started finding groups, and that's not like I just magically found groups that were good for me. I did a lot of research, joined groups, found ones where they dug my message. I was posting, helping, all sorts of stuff. And I was literally just talking to people, seeing what they needed. And they were like, hey, I want to talk to you. They'd book a call, and they're like, this looks really good. You seem different. You seem like, you're honest, and it seems like you're going to do a good job, which we do. And my team has grown now. We have 5 coaches. Like it's grown, but yet we still have a very high touch kind of energy. So that's what it was how to figure out how to talk to people on Facebook. and I figured it out. And, I created a system around it, and I created, sort of like frameworks and frameworks. And we started creating, now we have a whole program I didn't have my own trainings. My clients come in and they have all these trainings on exactly how to do everything. I just had to figure that out. And it was hard, but what's interesting is when you figure something out and it works, they're so fulfilling when right? Like, I was like, wow, I figured this out from scratch. So, that's also valuable. I think people overlook that, actually.
Completely. It's like the reward, right? Like the internal reward that you get from doing all your hard work. Yeah. Do you think that the struggles that you had and the people you were helping with when you started 4 years ago are the same type of struggles that people have today, like when they come to work with you?
100%. Because there are many, many coaches, consultants, and providers who know they're really good at what they're doing. Okay. So like, we know you're really good at your brain coaching, right? What was it called again? I forget what you said, what you do again.
It's brain engineering.
Yeah. Brain engineering. Right. So I know you're good just by speaking with you for a few minutes, right? You're really great at what you do. Now, a lot of people are like you. They're fantastic life coaches. Okay. They're coaches that aren't like business coaches. Now, if you're a business coach and you don't know how to market, I think we got a problem on our hands, right? However, I do coach some business coaches, but a lot of them are a mix of coaches. They're not even business coaches. They're life coaches, spiritual coaches, relationship coaches, executive coaches, career coaches, business coaches, you name it. Men's coaches, women's coaches, blah, blah, blah. Now, these people say they're like a relationship coach. They're a genius at helping people with their relationships. That doesn't mean they're going to be a genius at marketing. It's two different things, right? So it's no reflection on the person's level of helping people and how good they are. And I speak to people all the time, and I can see they're just geniuses at what they do. However, they have not figured out the business side of it, how to get clients to even know that they're there, what they do, and to invest in their coaching services. It's the same problem, and it's the same problem through the ages with a service or a product getting into the hands of people that will pay money for it. It's just a classic marketing problem.
Yeah. What would you, like, someone who's listening to this, what suggestions or what tips can you share? Let's say 3 things that they could help with their organic marketing to help them get clients.
Okay. So the first thing is that nothing will work unless there's a complete clarity on who you're helping and what that offer is. Because if you're unclear on those 2 things, then your market is unclear and they can't buy it. So I'll give you an example. I use this a lot now because I think it's funny. It's a funny example. If you go into Walmart, okay, and you're in, say, a section like the sports section. So at least we know there's some kind of, some context. All right. So let's say you're in the sports section and you're in there and you see a box on a shelf and it has a big question mark on it in the sports section. Are you going to pick up that box and go pay for it at the cashier without knowing exactly what's in there?
Right.
No, you won't. Nobody will. Everybody goes, no, absolutely not. We kind of know it's sporting goods if it's in the right place, but we're not sure. And that's kind of what coaches are doing. They people kind of know that they're in that category, that they're a coach of some sort. So they do have some insight, not nothing. But then there's a big question mark on the box that their servicers are packaged in. Nobody will buy this. They need to know exactly that box needs to be opened up and displayed on the shelf so we can see it is a biking helmet. And I can decide, do I need another biking helmet? And if so, is this the one I want? Does it have the light or blah, blah, blah? Then I can, in good faith, pick that up, go to the cashier and buy it and be all in. I will not buy something not knowing what's in it. I'm not a mystery shopper. Like, mystery is in fact of like paying money. Nobody is.
So when somebody has to show their product, show their offering, right? Like how are people doing it wrong? Like, they're not talking about their offer. They're not using their customer language. What is it?
The languaging, the messaging is off. So if I go on, so I can see this in a second. If I go on somebody's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, you name it, you show me their profile, I can tell you as soon as I've read it in about 4 seconds, whether it's going to work or not. Because they're missing what I call the dolphin call. And this is something I created. Okay. I didn't create it. I created the term. The dolphin call is if I'm a dolphin and I'm a coach, okay, I need to find other dolphins that dig me and are on my frequency, okay, on my wavelength, kind of like brave wavelengths, like you do, right? So if I have messaging that's not appealing to the dolphin call of my dolphins, they're not going to hear it. They won't see it. They won't notice it. And they'll be just like, oh yeah, okay. They'll see it, but not see it. But if I have messaging that makes them read it and stop and look and go, oh, that's my gal. She is exactly what I need because I'm a coach and I need to get to 6 or 7 figures without tech, drama, or ads. Because that's what I say on Facebook. I say different things on different ones. They're like, yeah, okay, I'm a coach. Yep. I don't want tech. I don't want drama. And I don't want to do ads. And she's going to help me get to 6 or 7 figures. I'm going to get on a call with this woman. Okay. But if I'd said business coach, okay. Well, okay. Again, we're in the sporting goods section of business coaching, but there's no message in that. There's what kind of business coach? Men, women, coaches, coach for lawyers, coach for what? So people online don't care enough to even ask the what. It's like, oh yeah, I don't know what she's doing. Like just next. On Instagram, you have very few seconds to catch attention, less on Instagram and even less on TikTok. Okay. Facebook's a little more time, LinkedIn's a bit more time, and YouTube, I don't know about that right now. So that's the deal. You have to be super, super clear about what you're offering. And we actually help our clients with that when they come in. We look at the offer, we go through it with a fine-tooth comb, we help with the messaging, we go through pricing. So, because when you're lacking that confidence, it's hard to sell. And getting a clear offer, clear avatar or market, pricing, and knowing exactly how to position that in the market, you're already like, I got something really like concrete. It's the helmet's unveiled and it's there and we can see what it is, right? So that's the first thing. That is the first mistake. And I've seen people be online and they're like, I've been online 4 years and they're still unclear and I don't know why I'm not getting clients. And I go and I say, this is why. And we fix it and they start getting clients immediately, almost like, because it's just like, so that's the first 2 tips, 2 in there. 1 is be clear on your offer and your avatar. And then the second tip is to be clear on your messaging. So that's 2 tips. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you find that different platforms needs different things, right? So like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's not so different, by the way. It's not so different. Some are very similar. It's sometimes a different way of approaching people, different way of talking to people, different way of languaging, different way of priming your profile. So yes, however, it's not that different. We have different trainings for each one so that you're compliant and you know the differences. Yes, there are differences. Absolutely. Just how you're appearing and different content. Some of the content you can use and cross, just depends. I test a lot.
Yeah. Is that, do you enjoy testing or do you do it just because like you have to?
No, I love testing. I actually love testing and being a detective in my business.
Yeah.
Because the more that we test, the more we see, hey, oh, this also works, and pass it on to my clients. And things change all the time. So we can't just like do the same thing we were doing exactly 4 years ago. Some of it's the same, but we have to always be ahead of the curve, like what's going on with the different platforms and what's working now, because it changes.
Yep. 100%. Yeah. I like what you said about the detective, because I like to think of it as like a game, and it makes it fun. So that's awesome. Yeah. So what you want to just share with us, like one story of like someone who came to you and because most people who are watching this are not just starting out, like they already have their offers and they already have their things. So maybe a story of someone who's like a little bit more down the road of like how you've helped them.
Sure. We had a breathwork coach come in, and she came in like on my messenger. She said, I don't need we had a little chat, and she was eating and I was making dinner, and she said, oh, I'm going to do this. Just let me finish my dinner and I'll pay. So because I just resonate. She goes, I know this is going to be amazing. I said, I know it is too. We just felt it. And she came in, she did exactly what we said. She was very coachable and she got to 91K in 4 weeks. And she had been coaching for 4 years. She was a top salesperson too. So it wasn't like her sales skills were lacking. However, we do coach people on that. And she goes, wow, you guys really upped my game in all levels, even the sales. And she got to 91K in 4 weeks. And she had only really ever gotten to like 7K months. So
Wow.
not bad, 7K months, not terrible, right? But after 4 years, that was not her goal to
Right.
be, sort of stuck at 7K months. And a lot of people might think, oh, that's a lot. But for somebody that's ambitious, 4 years online, 7K, it's not what she wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
She got to 91K. And I said, well, how did that? And actually, there's an interview. I hope you share my reviews of her. And I actually asked her, well, how did that happen? And she said, well, your insane leadership. She said, I realized I wasn't showing up for my clients. She goes, that was not happening. So I thought, oh, okay, I need to be a better coach. First of all, it changed her whole energy. She also got bold about asking for, full pays, pay in full. Right. And she said also, I thought I was really good at organic marketing. She goes, clearly I wasn't, so yeah,
Yeah.
amazing.
See the transformation in people, right?
Right. And she did the work, you have to do the work, right?
Yeah, completely agree. Okay, so before we get to our last question, where can people find you, connect with you, and come and work with you?
Well, if you spell my name right, and I hope you do, and I hope you put this link,
The
there's a
links will
link,
be right below.
the
So
links there, so they can go to my reviews page. Also, my name, you can reach out to me on Instagram. I love people DMing me. I'm very approachable. There's Facebook, my name again, LinkedIn, again, just my name. It's very easy to find me. My website, you want to email jeanneomlor@gmail.com. We are so accessible on purpose.
yeah, I love that. That's so awesome. Okay, so final question. What is something controversial that you believe in?
Controversial. Wow, that hit me with that one. Something controversial that I believe in. Okay. I do believe that mindset really can move mountains. Okay. And my thing is, I'm also a mindset coach that's sort of sandwiched in there. My thing is that if you truly believe that something will work and you have the belief and you do have certain steps to take, miracles can happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
That manifestation can happen. However, you do need to pray with your feet, I call it. So,
I like that.
you know what I mean? Like,
I'm like a big believer, like you, like mindset, but like I think that a lot of people talk about it in mindset world. They like stay in the mindset without the action. I'm like,
yes,
you both.
you need both. And so my thing is, even though it's controversial, I truly do believe that you can bring in amazing wealth if you visualize it. And miracles. I mean, it's a miracle I got where I am at my age. Like when you look at it, one of my mentors said, Jeanne, he goes, have you ever thought of this? Like, how many 54-year-old women get online and become millionaires in 17 months with organic marketing? I thought, I don't know. He goes, well, I only know one. Okay. So, because, when you get older, it's not as easy as when you're younger because the world favors youth. Not that I'm like an old person, but it's not like we have advantages coming online in the young market. And also there's if not now, there's a whole time frame thing going on, right? So basically I feel like a miracle happened in my life because I believed it could. I believed when I came online, even though I was not in a great mental state or whatever, anything, there was a kernel of belief that I grew. And I realized, okay, this can happen and I'm going to believe it, but I will take massive action as well.
I love that. I love that so
Yeah.
much. Well, thank you so much for being here. This is fun talking to you today.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Awesome.